CERN, they've used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa.
And one of them are the occupants from 3i Atlas.
To be clear, CERN already has a room and a technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials.
Yes.
But recently, they also used it to communicate with the beings on 3i Atlas.
That's correct.
Okay, go
Yes. So those beings introduced themselves as such, like we are the occupants of this object, and they did not show up physically. They show up as holograms. Now, they apparently showed up as holograms. They looked tall, that's what she said, and they communicated telepathically with every single scientist in the room.
on. Wow.
And they all got the same message, which is that they are coming in peace and they're just trying to come over here to gather all the star seeds of this planet.
So when you remote viewed, did you pick up on that intention as well?
Yes and no. I believe that the direct reptilians, will be coming to Earth, but as to know what the exact intent, that I couldn't really say.
Well, this is an extraordinary development.
It is.
You remote viewed 3i Atlas. Did you do that on your own, or were you tasked with this assignment?
I was tasked by the same intelligence people I'm working with to look at the object, because they also had concerns. But what I saw as a remote viewer was a mothership with occupants on board, and they were mostly direct reptilian occupants.
Okay.
That's what I saw as a remote viewer.
And that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yes.
The ship and Draco.
That's correct. One of them is John Vivanco, who is also a known remote viewer, and he announced it publicly as well. And other people from the Stargate program as well. So they basically all came up with the same idea.
We experienced a strange glitch during the intro to the video. In a couple of minutes, the glitch will slowly dissipate back to normal, but Jonathan had me leave some of the glitch in place so you can hear it. It seems as if the Lord allowed this glitch to happen to make sure we got the message. The glitch is the scientist you heard in the video you just watched stuck in a loop saying, to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings. Note, Jonathan is not suggesting communicating with ETs. However, that side of the equation seems to be coming for the human race, which they seem to be part of, if indeed true.
Imagine to peer across the world and know the enemy's secrets, to place our thoughts into the minds of your leaders. Make your teachers teach the true version of history. Your soldiers attack on our command. We will be everywhere at once, more powerful than a whisper, invading your dreams, thinking your thoughts for you while you sleep. We will change you, Dr. Jones. All of you, from the inside. We will turn you into us. And the best part, you won't even know it's happening.
3i Atlas, guys, you don't have to
Communicate
look
with
far.
extraterrestrial beings.
It's emitting its own light. It's
Communicate with
extreme
extraterrestrial
negative
beings.
polarization energy. They said they
Communicate
detected
with
an
extraterrestrial
energy field
beings.
that would be the equivalent of hundreds of nuclear
Communicate
reactors
with extraterrestrial beings.
going off inside of a vacuum.
Communicate
Now,
with
these are things
extraterrestrial
that are being
beings.
reported. Do I know these to be like 100%
Communicate
true
with
or
extraterrestrial
accurate?
beings.
I do not, however,
Communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
it is coming through Ophiuchus or
Extraterrestrial beings.
Ophiuchus. That's the name of the constellation that it's
Extraterrestrial
coming
beings.
through, which means the bearer of the serpent.
Extraterrestrial
One
beings.
who bears the serpent. That's the name of Ophiuchus
Extraterrestrial
or
beings.
Ophiuchus. So anyway, I'm going to show you
Extraterrestrial
that,
beings.
but I'm also going to show you. Y'all remember when the Vatican?
Extraterrestrial
They
beings.
said they were opening the sacred portal and there was reptiles on the door.
Extraterrestrial
Remember
beings.
that? All right, let's talk about the fog. Fog's everywhere. Well, remember I showed you the cumulative sum of the Vatican is an upside down cross at the bottom of a keyhole. A keyhole to what, you might ask? Well, if they're opening up anything, what do you think they're opening up?
The abyss. It's dead.
Since the whole upside down cross represents Satan, the Vatican is a serpent, and there is a sheep going in the mouth of the serpent, and God's angels make up that sheep. And when you look at the pillars on the canopy, the corner of the pillars, they all are locusts coming up from the pit.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
Then we walk out of the shadows, quietly walk out of the dark, and strike.
There's reptiles on
CERN,
the sacred
the
portal.
beings.
But
Well,
at the same time, do y'all remember CERN said
CERN, the
they were
beings.
opening a
Well.
portal and that something came through it?
CERN,
Now
the
imagine
well,
a presence.
CERN,
Think of the
the
hieroglyph
well.
of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. What's
CERN,
inside
the
Akhenaten?
well.
A serpent being. What's he doing? He's impregnating
CERN,
a
the
girl
view-
on her knees.
well.
And then Akhenaten is holding a hybrid
CERN, the
child
use.
that's
well.
got a dead sheep in his head, and it also has
CERN,
a reptile.
the
So
used.
Well.
there's a consciousness of a sheep
CERN,
and a reptile
they've used their
in
collider
Akhenaten.
to open
The
up a
Vatican
portal to communicate
has
with
a
extraterrestrial beings.
The whole
Collider
altar
to open up a
being
portal to
eaten
communicate with
by
extraterrestrial
a
beings.
reptile. The interline is a snake, and it's eating a sheep. What's the sheep made out of? Angelic beings. What are they doing? Well, they're coming in through the window and they're melting into semen, which is Isaiah 43. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. The words pass through the waters literally translate as when you cross to the other side in copulation, which is the act of intercourse, in the semen, I will be with you. When you cross in copulation in the semen, I will be with you. That's what the Bible says. The Bible also says that God's seed should sojourn in a strange land. Yes? Okay, well, you know what the strange land is? We're in it. And his seed is in us. And we are stars, and we have a reptile presence trying to destroy us, the serpent. So the serpent race destroys the angelic beings through the host body system. And I'm going to show you Genesis that you've never seen before. No one's ever presented what I'm about to present. And watch it all get tied together. It's absolute perfection. Oh, by the way, we had to move some stuff to even be able to get production going. It's been crazy. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this worked. All right, so everything you can see, you can go to the 3i Atlas Swan folder and you can see every single thing that's going to intersect. Okay, I want you to look for 1 minute. This is the big dead sheep in the Vatican. It says right side up right here, and that's the male genitalia, and it's ejaculating a seed, and there's angels that are facing each other opposite directions, but you can see the angels are melting into semen. Okay, now all we have to do is turn that upside down, and when we turn that whole altar upside down, then we get the female reproductive system right here. So now it's upside down and backwards, and here's the female reproductive system upside down and backwards. And Jude 1.6, and angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath preserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. Because the everlasting chains are forward and backwards ligaments of the body. Your body are the chains. Your host body is the set of chains that keeps you complete prisoner. So you have to be born again within your host body. And I've shown you right here, the most obvious thing in the world is male and female in opposition to each other. On one side, you'll see the triangle that's down. That represents the chalice, female. And the opposite of that is the blade, penis, male. And if you even go watch like Da Vinci Code, they even mention it in the Da Vinci Code.
Now, Robert, you could be of help to us. If you'd be so kind as to show us the symbols for man and woman, please.
Oh, no balloon animals. Huh. I can make a great duck. This is the original icon for male. It's a rudimentary phallus.
Quite to the point.
Yes, indeed.
This is known as the blade. It represents aggression and manhood. It's a symbol still used today in modern military uniform.
Yes, the more penises you have, the higher your rank, boys will be boys.
Now, as you would imagine, the female symbol is its exact opposite. This is called the chalice.
And the chalice resembles a cup or vessel, or more importantly, the shape of a woman's womb.
They mention it all the time in movies right in front of your face, but were you able to perceive it? Now remember, everything is coming in through Ophiuchus right now. 3i Atlas, all these other comets seem to be on this same trajectory towards Earth. And if you'll go look at the folder, you'll be able to see all these images. I put them all in there for you. Here is 3i Atlas right here. This yellow dot says 3i Atlas coming in, and it's coming in through what's called Ophiuchus. Oh, you can pronounce it Ophiuchus or Ophiuchus. There's two ways of pronouncing it. So here's the serpent, and it means the serpent bearer. Now think about this. In the hieroglyph of Akhenaten, there's a serpent being inside Akhenaten. Well, what's Akhenaten? He's like a reptilian alien, but he's hidden inside flesh. So you couldn't tell that he's actually a reptilian, but he looks different. His carvings are different, but he has a reptilian being inside of him, and he's impregnating the girl on her knees and producing a hybrid race. And the hybrid race is sheep and reptile, and the sheep is being destroyed. Well, that's exactly what the Vatican is. That's exactly what downtown Grand Junction is. The statue of the guy and the girl hugging is really a serpent killing a sheep. My wife gave me a card. Johnny, I love you. I'm sorry I've been such a biatch lately. And she had been. She'd been acting really weird. And she gave me a card that was a serpent eating a sheep. I had a guy named Marcel that spoke only Spanish. I went to my sunglass warehouse, and he had a little studio over there, art studio, and he's, hey, hola, Jonathan, yo, mira, yo lo hago para ti. And he's like, he did a picture of me on a piece of wood, and it had a dead sheep on top of my head, a goat facing the opposite direction, sheep pointing up, goat pointing down on my head on the picture he drew of me. And then he put a serpent wrapped around my neck, eating me. That's the same thing as the Vatican. That's the same thing as hieroglyph of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. And now we have Three-Eye Atlas coming through Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, and they're saying they're communicating with serpent beings on Three-Eye Atlas. Now's a good time to pay attention. Now people, oh, well, you said that they're going to be here. I'm showing you what the Lord's showing me. Do I know that they're showing up like a serpent race? Well, would it make total sense? Would it make total sense that if they seeded a planet, they started a host body system, and God's angelic beings came in and were within the system, well then, on their return trip, once the population of the earth grows and matures, does technology and all that good stuff, and the human race is able to build CERN and do all those things because the serpent really controls the human race, well, then they open a portal and they come back through, and it's time to collect what they planned. What did the guys say they were going to collect? Star seed. Doesn't the Bible say that we're star seed? We're the stars, and what does it say? That God's seed should sojourn in a strange land. Yes or no? Yeah. We're the angels of God in a strange land. Let me show you something that the Lord showed me that's insane right now that plays into this. Okay, ready? Ophiuchus, watch this. For thousands of years, the zodiac wheel has spun with 12 signs. So I'm going to show you the zodiac wheel. Okay, pretty interesting. They put the 13th there. It is spun with 12 signs, neatly, predictably, and comfortingly complete. But what if that wheel is missing a spoke? What if the 13th archetype, one so powerful it could awaken our collective memory? And our collective memory was deliberately removed. Now, in Genesis 2, now don't forget, who wrote the Pentateuch? Moses. Who was Moses? Well, he was an Israelite, but he was raised as an Egyptian, a prince of Egypt. What about the Egyptians? Don't they worship the serpent? And don't they have coming out of their forehead a snake and a vulture? Because they're the serpent race. Death. Get it? That's why they have a vulture and a serpent coming out of their head. Okay, but Moses was raised as one of them, like in the serpent race. But then he found out his identity. Do you know what Moses means? Drawn out of the water. That's what Moses means. He was drawn out of the water, and he was formed into one of God's people because the Lord converted Moses and made him a prophet to lead the people out of slavery in Egypt. How fascinating that Moses was raised, basically you can say, in what looks like the serpent race. The Egyptians. Now watch this. Watch this. But what if that wheel is missing a spoke? What if a 13th archetype, one so powerful it could awaken our collective memory, was deliberately removed? So what if they deliberately removed the 13th thing? His name is Ophiuchus, and his story mirrors others who tried to liberate humanity from forgetfulness. And then this is where, don't pay attention to that. It says, beings like Jesus thought, even Aquarius, the water bearer. Now, here's the thing. A lot of stuff has a lot of truth, but then they weave in stuff that's not true. But watch this. Watch this. His name is Ophiuchus, and his story mirrors others who tried to liberate humanity from forgetfulness. All carried the same radical message. You are more than you've been told. You are divine. Okay, ready? That is not entirely true. You're in between divine and dead. You're an angelic being trapped in a host body that's owned by the abyss. The serpent owns the host body. Remember Ozzy Osbourne, patient number 9? And it shows you quite clearly the two females coming up from the pit forming the serpent. The Vatican's a serpent. Downtown Grand Junction's a serpent hugging a guy. It's really a serpent killing a sheep. My wife gave me a card of a serpent killing a sheep. Marcel gave me one. I walked into Starbucks. Another person said, "Hey, Johnny, I drew a picture of you." Why the hell would you draw a picture of me? Well, and he gave it to me, and on the picture he drew, it was another dead sheep behind my ear and a serpent eating me again, over and over and over again. Serpents eating me. My wife giving me one. It's like, what the hell? She kept saying, "I just want the old Johnny back," because I was converted. I was like, this is the new improved Johnny. But she didn't want someone that wouldn't lie to her. It's like she wanted someone that would just be part of the system, I guess. So anyway, so what's with all the serpents killing all the sheep? Well, if there's a serpent and sheep race intermixed, well, then everything the Lord's shown me is right. What's the Vatican? It's a serpent, right? Yes or no? So the Vatican is definitely a serpent, and I don't celebrate Halloween, but I was at Home Depot and I saw something really interesting. It's this snake, head of a snake, and you press this button and it makes a noise, it hisses. I just want you to see the snake's head for a second. Okay, why am I showing you this? Can you imagine a group of people saying, "You know what, let's make a building that looks like a snake, and it's also an upside down cross"? Would you go in there to worship God? Well, you would if you were the serpent race. You would if you were under mind control. You would if you hadn't been made fully sheep. If you were still in a trance and you were half asleep and you didn't know what was what, you don't even know what's what. At the end of this video, go watch Katy Perry and Nicki Minaj, Swish, Swish. Just read the lyrics. Watch the video. They know you don't know what's what. They're the serpent race. They show it right to you. Okay, ready? If you would make a building that's the shape of a serpent, and people go in there and think they're worshiping God, well, who are they really worshiping? Well, they're worshiping Elohim, the one that made the flesh. Now watch this. Remember, in the Vatican, it's a snake, just like Ophiuchus is a snake. And in the Vatican, you have male and female reproductive systems in opposition to each other. So right here is male, right here. We put the goat god sitting right there in the chair, and then we turned it upside down, and it's the goat god sitting there, right side up and upside down. So male and then female. So watch this. The male right here is a dead sheep. This whole thing's a dead sheep. Well, you know what? The virgin, when you turn it upside down, is a dead sheep. Right here is the virgin. So when you invert this image of the virgin, you have a dead sheep. So the male is finding his other half, so to speak, or I was, by inverting the entire world. So when I inverted the world, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like in some other world. It's literally being born again into the truth. And it's bigger than people understand. So now, watch this. We have all this stuff that serpents eating sheep, and you turn stuff upside down, and you see, you turn the virgin upside down, you see a dead sheep. You turn images upside down of girls and tattoos, and they become, the devil. You have the Star of Remphan that is for the god Molech, and the god Molech is literally the female reproductive system with his mouth open, no different than the Vatican, absolutely identical to the Vatican and all the stuff I showed you. And look, there's a right side up triangle. Look behind me, please. You see the right side up male, red right there? And then you have an upside down blue, just like right behind me on the wall right there. So you have male and female in opposition to each other. And let me show you this thing that they wrote about Ophiuchus. Watch this. Now don't forget, the coming comet is coming through Ophiuchus. And it says, you are more than you've been told you are divine. Well, that's not entirely true. You can be divine, but you must be born again to become divine. You got to be born again. And it says right here, you are more than you've been told you are divine, but only whole, only free, when masculine and feminine are reunited within. That is absolutely true. Don't forget who wrote the Pentateuch. Are y'all ready for the mind blower? You ready? Let's go to the Bible. Here you go. Bible. Okay. Now, everything before you get to Genesis 2:7, everything before Genesis 2:7, before Genesis 2 verse 4, says Elohim. Everything is Elohim. Genesis 1 is Elohim said, let us create man in our representative figure, especially an idol. Right here, Genesis 1:26. Elohim said, let us make man in our representative figure, especially an idol. Right here. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him male. It says to be remembered. That is male. And that to be remembered is exactly right. Because when you remember who you actually are, then you get out of the trap. Watch this. Male and female. Look at female. It says female from the sexual form. But look what it says. To puncture. Think of Jesus's side. Think of Adam's side, where Eve comes out of his side. Literally to perforate more or less with violence, to designate, to specify, libel, to blaspheme, bore, curse, pierce, and strike through. Right there. That's what female means. Okay, let's go back to Genesis 2. Okay, are you ready? These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth. Well, who's Elohim then? Elohim is the part that left, the fallen part. That's why it's on the earth. And if it wasn't fallen, it'd still be in heaven. Now, ready? Watch this. Let's go down to... Here we go. Y'all ready? And Adam gave names to all the cattle and the fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a help. So see the word help? An aid. Help. Ready? The root of it is azar, and it means to protect or aid, to help and to succor. Do y'all know what succor means? Do y'all know what the term succor means? I didn't know it. I looked it up. Succor means to give assistance or aid to, just like I will make a meat for him, an aid. The prisoners of the war were liberated and succored. Prisoners of war. Well, haven't I shown you guys before over and over again that in Genesis 2, when it says Elohim finished his work, and on the seventh day Elohim ended his work, and the word work is properly deputyship, that is ministry, never servile, so it doesn't serve anyone. And the heavens and the earth were finished in all the hosts. Look at the word host. Mass of persons regularly organized for war. An army. an appointed time, hardship, battle, host, service, soldiers, warfare, regularly organized for war. Let's go back. The verb succor means to give assistance or aid to, like prisoners of war were liberated and succored. Well, y'all know that we've all been made prisoners of war, don't you? We're inside host bodies and we're at war with another entity within us. Now, watch it all prove out. Ready? Here it is. Back to the Bible. Here you go. Down to Adam. There was not found a help for him, an aid or help, to protect, aid, succor, meet, M-E-E-T, meet for him. A front, that is a part opposite, over and against. A part opposite. To stand out boldly opposite. To manifest, specifically to expose, to explain, to understand, and the way you come to the knowledge of the truth, just like Jesus told Peter, upon this rock I will build my church, and Peter would be called Petros, little piece of rock. He represented all of us, the system right side up and upside down, but Peter had the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That's why the Vatican is built in the shape of an upside down cross at the bottom of a keyhole that turns into the serpent eating angels. The Vatican represents the system. But the ones that run that system are taken by that system. So now we have 3i Atlas on its way here, and you don't have to look far to see all this stuff that it's giving off its own signature of heat. It's got its own light. It's intelligently being controlled. Apparently, people are communicating with it, and it's saying we're coming to collect our star seed. Well, isn't that what a whole earth is about? That something gets planted and they grow together. You know, the story of the wheat and the weeds. And then they grow together, and then the angels come back and everything gets harvested and thrown into the fire except the wheat. And if you're tied together to them, then you're part of what gets destroyed. The only way you would be able to look up, let's just say there's something coming from the heavens that's so overwhelming, everyone's going to freak out. Well, let me ask you this. If you saw like Chronicles of Riddick type thing over the whole world, would you freak out? Like, you know, where the necromancers show up and they say either convert or die. I mean, would that terrify you? Would you convert? Or would you stand your ground and say, no, I'm not converting? You see what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a parallel. Well, what if you looked up and what you saw was so terrifying, men's hearts failing them for fear of looking after those things they saw coming on the earth? The Bible says the very powers of heaven will be shaken. Okay, but now we have 3i Atlas and all these other bogies now coming in, and they're coming in through Ophiuchus. Okay, y'all know what's in the abyss, right? Y'all know there's scorpions in the abyss. Revelation 9, verse 11. Let me show you this. Revelation 9, verse 11. It's a twin system. It's a Cain and Abel system. It's a cannibalistic system. Now we know why. Because the serpent race, just like Akhenaten and Nefertiti, the serpent race is killing. It's a reptilian race. It's killing the kids in the hieroglyph, and the kids have sheep in their heads. And the whole, the whole head of the kid Akhenaten's holding is a big dead sheep. Revelation 9, verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and they had tails like it was given to them the power of scorpions. And the word scorpion, look, it means to pierce. like Genesis 1, 26, 27, male and female, to pierce, female. Isn't the end of the world called the time of the female rival? It is, Daniel 12. Time of the female rival. It says a scorpion from its sting, and it also means through the idea of concealment, like they're hidden in human host bodies. Watch this. A covering, human host body, through the idea of noticeableness, clothing, raiment, because they're wearing the suit that we're wearing, and we're born the tabernacle of Molech. What's the tabernacle of Molech? A right side up, upside down, interlocking star. A 6-pointed star, like the Star of David. It's really the star of Molech. The star of Remphan. Well, who's that? Did you know that's the Ammonites? The inbred race. The serpent inbred race. That's what the star of Remphan is. Okay, ready? Let's go back to the folder. There you go. So there's the right side up, upside down star. I put fangs on this guy because this is the vampiric system. And then there's Molech, and there's the star of Remphan. There it is. And the chief deity of the Ammonites. Ammonites from Samuel. The inbred serpent race, Nahash. And there's no arguing it because it's the Bible. And why do you think all these dudes are dressing like girls now? Why? Because she's taking over the whole system. That's why. And then you have Ophiuchus coming into, you have Three-Eye Atlas coming into our whole world, and it's coming, and it's the serpent wrapped around man. But let me show you what the symbol is for Ophiuchus. Let's see. So there's the symbol for Ophiuchus right there. The serpent bearer. Okay, so now all the moving parts have come together, all of them. And now what's behind me is what I've been trying to get out to you guys for the last 2 weeks. But we've been getting all our stuff knocked off YouTube. Why? None of it violated any policy. We filed complaint. I started talking about lawyers, and that came up. We filed a reinstatement, and they put my old channel back. If I was you guys, I would pay such solid attention to this channel, because what I'm going to give to you now is complete support that there's more than likely an event about to happen. Do I know for sure? I don't. I just have all the information the Lord's given me. And what does it add up to? Nobody knows if it's going to happen until it happens. But if you've been warned, like, look at this. The Vatican's a snake. Look at all the snakes eating sheep. Yes or no? Yes. Something's coming through the serpent bearer right now. It shot a laser into the sun. Did y'all hear that one? The sun's acting differently now. Would this be the other half of the equation that went out on a long trip, and now it's coming back? Because just like Taylor Swift turning the hourglass the other way, there's a moment when the hourglass runs out. Before you turn it over, there's a moment where it's all one thing on one side. Like all female, no more angels down on the dance floor. Wow. Now, okay guys, for right now, the shipping containers look like they're getting ready to move to their final spot. Like right away. So, the timing of the shipping containers moving to where they're going is beyond impossible. It's impossible. But they're going to their final spot as a physical representation of one of God's servants showing you that the end of time is here, and it's going to fold back the other way. It's going to fold back. Okay. I'm going to let Zach work on this. I'm having some program problems already. I'm going to let Zach work on this, and I'm going to just keep working on all this stuff on Ophiuchus for you, showing, and 3i Atlas showing up. And I want you guys to be able to tie all this stuff together. And I want to show you the way that it all intersects and how all these things make sense now, like in Georgia, the male and the female coming together, the statues of the two that become one. And this is literally what's coming now. The two are going to come together, and if you're not converted, it's catastrophic. If you're not converted at the end of the cycle, it's catastrophic. But everything makes sense now. So now you know why the ceiling of the Vatican, right here on the bottom, see that image? That's the ceiling of the Vatican. It's an eye. It represents the eye of the angel. And then coming down those posts, right here is you have the Queen of Heaven, the female rival, and she's the dragon. And then it turns into locusts coming up out of the pit. And then on the floor right here, look at this. This is the eye of the serpent. So you have an eye of a serpent, an eye of an angel, and they're hidden from each other's sight by the canopy, which represents the host body. Now everything makes total sense. Let me show you what's down past the double doors in the Vatican that have the double upside down crosses on them. Before I show you, do y'all remember the Quetzalcoatl dragon I showed you guys? Let me show you. Okay, there's the dragon Quetzalcoatl. See the eye? I made one blue and one yellow. Because one direction is a face of a guy, there's the eye, there's the other eye right there, and those are his teeth. Eye, teeth. And then you look at it straight on, it's got two eyes, it's the dragon. But then on the other side, right here, is the eye, the other eye, and the teeth. And each eye is a different dimension. The yellow eye is different than the blue eye, but it's shared in the middle by the dragon. That's the exact same, thing I've been shown over and over and over again. But let me show you what the Lord showed me when you go down below the Vatican, when you go down below the canopy where the double upside down crosses are. Do you see the big bug looking right at you? Okay, now that I've shown it to you, you're going to see two more bugs. You'll see one on each side, and they share an eye just like the dragon Quetzalcoatl. Watch. Okay, I'll go right here. Ready? There it is. Look. There's the insect. There's the eye and the eye. Here's the mouth of the insect. Here's another one. There's the eye. There's the eye. Here's the mouth of the insect. There's another one. There's the eye. There's the eye. There's the mouth of the insect. Three unclean spirits. Again, the same exact thing. Three different faces. And that's no different than the resolution of the crosses and why Jesus came to resolve. We have one being that's attached to the pit, a demonic, and it's twin female energy from the abyss. And there's that face. And then here's the whole dragon. That should be you on the cross because you're in this system. But then this face over here, you see the red eye. So you have another face. One's angelic, one's demonic. You're in the center. But if you let Jesus take that spot, then everything makes sense because you reconcile the two back to God through the cross, making one new man from the two, the good and the evil. And when you find the other one, just like in Genesis 2, I will make a help for him. So the Adam and Eve going into Genesis 2 and commingling with the race from Genesis 1, spiritually speaking, when you turn the world upside down, you find your meat. You find your aid in helping you wake up. Arise, O sleeper, wake up from the dead, because we're the walking dead. And the scriptures bear it out. Ecclesiastes 7. Who can make straight or equalize that which Elohim, from Genesis 1, has turned upside down? Elohim turned everything upside down by making the host body. Angelic beings that come into the system that have commingled in the system, the only way to find your way home is this. Yes, and that was woven into the Old Testament as well. Psalm 146.9. The Lord loveth the righteous, but the way of the wicked he turneth upside down. If 1 Kings, I think, 21, I will take Jerusalem and wipe her and clean her as one wipeth a dish and turneth it upside down. So it was in the Old Testament. And they knew it. Isaiah knew it. Woe unto them who go to great depths to hide their plans from the Lord. Their works are in the darkness. And they say, who seeth us, who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, which is Genesis 2. When the Lord God forms man from the dust, and he breathes into him the breath of life, and man becomes the living soul. So when you turn the world the other direction, upside down, you're getting your soul back, and you're turning back to your creator, a spiritual being. And then look what it said about Ophiuchus. I mean, what do you think the odds are that it literally says, you are more than you've been told, you are divine, but only when you're whole, only free, when masculine and feminine are reunited within. Look at the Vatican, that's male, and then that's female upside down, and that's the flesh, but you got to reunite spiritually, basically finding your Eve spiritually. And the scriptures bear it out perfectly. The word converted means turned quite around. Unless you're turned quite around, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Turn the world upside down. It's the easiest thing in the world. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can get out the Star of Rimphan. I finally got everything working. I literally had to move my entire studio. Over the last 7 days when all this has been going on, fighting with YouTube, I moved everything and just did a complete do-over. I'm going to be showing you stuff on these boards, like teaching classes, and I'm going to show you stuff that's going to blow your mind. And it's all already here. So I don't have to do any work. All the material's already here, ready to be delivered. And I'll keep you updated on the containers. And yes, I think there's going to be a big get together, but we got to get everything ready quickly. I love you guys. Crazy, right? The old channel's back. I'll have Zach put a link to the old channel in the description box. How wild, you guys.